Greetings and salutations, bem-vindos a mais um vídeo do nosso canal Technicalities. O meu nome é Romário Ferreira and I am your host. Hoje nós iremos conversar com Sangwon Lim, uma fisioterapeuta coreana trabalhando e estudando nos Estados Unidos. Sangwon Lim estudou Ciências da Saúde na Universidade de Seul, na Coreia do Sul, mestrado em fisioterapia no MGH Institute of Health Professions, foi fisioterapeuta do quadro do Hebrew Senior Life, também em Boston, e atualmente cursa epidemiologia na Universidade de Harvard, na Escola de Saúde Pública. Hoje nós iremos conversar um pouco sobre a carreira dela, sobre os desafios dela e também um pouco sobre a forma como o inglês surgiu na vida dela. Então, fique ligado para a primeira parte da nossa entrevista com Sangwon Lim. Ok, hoje nós temos aqui comigo Sangwon Lim e vamos falar um pouco sobre a vida dela nos Estados Unidos, sobre a sua carreira, sobre os seus estudos. Eu acho que todo mundo deve estar interessado. Então, em primeiro lugar, Sangwon, muito bom ter você aqui. E eu queria começar primeiro perguntando o seguinte: como foi a vida lá na Coreia do Sul? Acho que todo mundo é curioso para saber. É uma parte do mundo que a gente conhece pouco, então se você puder falar um pouco, vai ser muito útil para nós.
So I was born and raised in Seoul, the capital city, and I have my parents and two sisters and one brother. So we are total of 6. So it's a big family. My parents are really focused on education, so they gave me a big support to study through. So I came from that culture, family culture. And then Korea is a really beautiful country, friendly people. They're really generous. So I came to the States in 2013. Before then, I was in Korea. I went to schools in Korea. I finished my bachelor's degree in Korea. My life in Korea was quite good with my family and friends. Yeah, we had great time. Yeah.
Ok. Sangwon, tem como você falar um pouco para nós sobre a educação na Coreia, como são as escolas, as universidades e tudo mais? Até também, se você puder falar um pouco sobre como começou, como o seu primeiro contato com a língua inglesa, se já foi na escola ou como é que foi?
So the education system in Korea is, so we go to an elementary school for 6 years, and 3 years in middle school and 3 years in high school, and then go to the college. The English system in Korea is not so practical, I would say. Just personally, that's my experience in my generation. Now it's a lot better. It's more practical. But at that time, we more focus on reading and English grammar. I mean, it's really important. You have to read and you have to really care about the grammar, but I don't think it was quite practical in terms of speaking. So even though many Koreans can read English really well, if they have to speak something, they have a lot of struggles. So that's also what I had to go through. So we have English class in elementary school, middle school, and in high school, but I would say it's only 3 times a week or 5 times a week, like for 45 minutes, an hour each. So it's not really enough. And then all of a sudden in college, they give you some English, some classes taught in English, and then the textbooks are also in English, especially my major, physical therapy. Since physical therapy is more advanced in America, we have to import textbooks from America, which was written in English. So we had to study all jargons and terminology in English in that textbook. So it was a little hard to learn it. All of a sudden, like in college, their expectation on us was really high in terms of English. Yeah. So yeah, that was my experience. But I think younger generation, they're much better. They're more focused on speaking, more practical English. Yeah.
Você falou um pouco agora sobre a educação e sobre a demanda em relação à fisioterapia, ao estudo da fisioterapia, e por ser mais avançado e tudo mais. Eu queria que você me dissesse um pouco o que foi que lhe levou até escolher essa carreira. Qual foi o seu interesse? Quais foram seus primeiros contatos com a carreira? Você observou algum lugar? Como é que foi isso?
Since young, I don't know, I just wanted to work in a hospital. When I walk by hospitals, I don't know. I was so into hospital. I wanted to be a doctor, but I just realized that I can see blood. I just realized that later when I was in high school. But my dream just, that I want to be working at a hospital, that didn't change. So I looked up some other health professions, such as nurse or occupational therapy, physical therapy. But somehow I was fascinated by the fact that physical therapy can help you in long term, like throughout the life. It's about rehab, not just one time surgery. So to me, it seems like it's more meaningful to contribute someone's life. And then I don't have to see blood. I don't have to manage any emergency situation. So I think it was a good fit.
Pronto, já que você, na fisioterapia, e essa coisa de ter que ter aulas em inglês, e estudar com livros americanos, e a gente conhece bem como é que funciona o sistema e sabe que os Estados Unidos produz muito material científico. Quais recursos você usou para aprender melhor e para assim, aperfeiçoar o seu conhecimento da língua?
We didn't have much resources to help us learn English better in college in terms of physical therapy study, because the classes were done just in English. We were just supposed to read and understand all English in the textbook, imported from America. Professors were not responsible for our English, and out of the class, we just speak Korean and then we discuss in Korean. So all I had to do was just looking up the dictionary and then just memorize the words, jargons. So just reading one paragraph took me maybe, I don't know, 30 minutes, because I had to look up all jargons in dictionary. So that I think that was my first week in college. But it got better and better. I could memorize other jargons as well. So it took me less time. But yeah, just no, you are a grown up in college, so they're not really giving you lots of resources to help you understand this English better. So it was a lot of just individual efforts.
Então, depois de todo esse tempo todo que você estudou na Coreia do Sul, a gente sabe, para quem não sabe, aliás, são 6 anos o curso de fisioterapia lá. Eu queria que você falasse o que foi que lhe motivou a continuar os estudos e a avançar nos estudos nos Estados Unidos. E eu queria que contasse a sua experiência. Eu queria que você contasse a sua experiência aqui no MGH Institute, em Boston, que foi a escola que você estudou. Fale para nós um pouco sobre essa mudança aí.
Mm-hmm. So the reasons that I came to the state is, in Korea, I heard from seniors in school that it's way more advanced in America and Australia. So I just wanted to study better in America. And then plus, you can open your own clinic, which is illegal in Korea, because physical therapist in Korea is more like physical therapy assistant in the States. So we work under rehab doctors. We don't have much authority. But what I studied from the textbook imported from America teaches you how you diagnose people or how you prescribe exercises. So it requires more critical thinking and active thinking, not only just following your doctor's order. So I wanted to utilize my knowledge that I learned from textbook in America, because it will open up more opportunities. I can use my knowledge better. So that's why I wanted to study in America. Okay, so some of my friends came to the States first, like 2 years ahead of me and 1 year ahead of me. And then they told me MGH Institute of Health Professions is the best school, and then you can learn a lot. And then if you study there, it will be easier to pass the board exam, licensure exam. So I looked through the coursework, and then it was quite good. And then at the time, I wanted to do more research, not only the practical parts, only clinical part. So MGH has some coursework for the research part as well. So that's why I chose MGH, opposed to, I would say, for example, Pittsburgh University. They're more focused on practical part, not really about research. So yeah, I applied to Pittsburgh University as well. I got accepted, but I just wanted to do both, research and clinical part. That's why I chose MGH.
Então, você já nos deu um resumo aqui, mais ou menos, do que foi que ele fez escolher estudar no MGH, e também falar um pouco sobre Pittsburgh University e a questão da clínica e da pesquisa. Eu quero saber o seguinte, você tinha as suas expectativas aí. As suas expectativas corresponderam à realidade quando você passou a realmente estudar de fato? Como é que foi isso aí?
Yeah, my expectation was definitely met. And then sometimes it was kind of higher than I expected. First, my desire in research was really huge at the time. During the class in MGH Institute of Health Professions, it was all evidence-based. So when professors were teaching us some rationales in terms of physical therapy exercises, so even though the exercise part was quite clinical, they will all talking about the research. So this exercise is more efficient than this exercise based on this evidence. So it was quite good. But physical therapy can't be only about research. You have to be a great clinician, and then it should be supported by evidence. So MGH provide us a lot of practical experience. We had PT Center. What is that? How do you call that? Practicum? We had a practicum.
Yes.
Yeah, so we had a practicum each semester in the PT Center in MGH school. So we were exposed to this experience with patients, how we learned how to interact with patients, how to teach exercises. So that was the great part of learning clinical skills. And plus, at the end of school year, I think maybe last 1 or 2 semesters, I was also involved in research with Professor Dr. Gross. So we did some systematic review, and then I learned how to do meta-analysis. So that was also a great part, learning how you conduct the research in physical therapy. So it was a great combination, well-mixed research and clinical parts.
Então, é muito interessante ver a sua perspectiva do MGH e da experiência que foi lá. Eu queria que você me dissesse um pouco como foi o contraste do inglês que você falava e que você conhecia lá na Coreia, e até você pode me falar um pouco sobre o TOEFL que você fez e tudo mais. E eu queria saber qual o contraste com a realidade, na verdade, com ter que falar na sala de aula, interagir com os colegas, com os professores, interagir também com os pacientes, que já é um outro nível de conhecimento que você precisa ter. Explique para nós aí, nos dê uma luz, qual é a sua perspectiva dessas diferenças?
Korea, I think I was more used to academic English. So reading was more comfortable, writing was more comfortable, but at MGH, it involved lots of interactions with classmates and professors, even with patients. So that's not really academic English. It's more about how you speak. So I was used to the physical therapy jargons, but I didn't know how to use that jargons to make my patient understand better. So I had to use more patient-friendly words. I had to be more casual when I speak English. So it was a really huge, new transition to me. So I would say the huge difference between Korea and America in terms of education atmosphere is, in America, we focus on lots of discussion. So in class, they encourage lots of discussion and interaction. But in Korea, it's just more like lecture based. So throughout the class, the professor just teaches some class materials, go through the PowerPoint slides. So we don't really ask questions in the middle of the class because we think we're interrupting their lecture. So if we have a question, we just sleep on it, think through, and then if that's still a question, we just reach out to the professor, email, or ask for one-on-one appointment. So, and then we address the question, maybe, or at the end of the class. I was not used to discussion-based class. So even though the professor doesn't go through the whole PowerPoint slides, it's fine as long as we learn from active discussion and then critical thinking. That was also worth it. So at MGH, it's all about discussion because we had to discuss lots of patient cases. And then there's no right or wrong answer. Yeah, it was more about critical thinking, how you analyze the case, how you come up with some ideas that's the best fit for this patient. So it was a lot of discussion in English. At first, I was not comfortable because, I don't know, just my English was not good enough. And then I couldn't really think fast and then speak fast. So the pace of the discussion was also too fast to me. So that was not so comfortable. I had a rough time. Yeah.
Muito bem, essa foi a nossa primeira parte da entrevista com Sangwon Lim. Eu espero que vocês tenham curtido aí. Se você gostou do vídeo, não se esqueça de se inscrever no canal, de deixar um like, mandar esse vídeo para alguém que você sabe que está nessa situação também, interessado em estudar fora, ou está estudando já no exterior. Então, deixe e compartilhe o vídeo com alguém e nos vemos na próxima oportunidade na semana que vem.